The reason that you're not getting the number of referrals in your real estate business that you want is very simple. It's because you're the only one working on it. Think of it this way. If you were a football player and you were playing on a particular team and you showed up for a Saturday game and you were the only one that showed up, it was you 1 against 11. How do you think that would go? Not very well. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had the good fortune to go to Oregon Duck football games. Now, whether you love the Oregon Ducks or not, that's not the point. The point is I had an amazing time with my sons. I'm going to show you a few highlights here as we go through this video, but that's not the point. The point is that I learned and gained a greater appreciation for the power of a team. You see, in real estate, all too often, we are working in our businesses, trying to generate referrals, and it's us against them. It's how do I get them to give me referrals? And the strategy that I want you to understand that I'm going to highlight today is one of having a team who's all going to practice learning the same things, which is finding referrals for your business. For the past 2 weekends, I've had the good fortune to take both of my boys, one at a time, to 2 Oregon Duck football games. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. I was an Oregon Duck football fan before the Oregon Ducks were good. In fact, the Oregon Ducks sucked. In fact, it was more common for people to say Oregon sucks than it was for them to say Oregon Ducks. So no, I'm a true fan. I grew up in a little town just outside of Eugene, Oregon. And from there, I would go and I would watch the Ducks. We had season tickets back when they weren't very expensive. And it was my dream, my absolute dream, to be suited up playing for the Ducks. Now, I will say this, that my life's turned out far better now than it would have had I just pursued football at the University of Oregon. So I'm grateful for that. My dreams are bigger than they were before. Nevertheless, when I sit in that stadium and I look around and hear the music and feel the energy, I can't help but think back about those sweet memories from long, long ago. Now, you'll notice here from the video that one of my sons isn't that keen on football games, but he loves dads and he loves treats. And so we hooked him up along the way. My other son, a little bit more of a fan. We had a great time. Now, here's the point that I want you to learn. It's not about college football. I want you to learn about the team approach. You see, as I mentioned before, you've been going about your business trying to generate referrals from your friends, family, neighbors, etc., which is a solid idea. It works, but it only works to a certain extent. What if for just a minute, rather than you trying to nurture a database only of 300 people, trying to get 30 referrals a year, which by the way, that's about the percentage. You get about a 10% return on your database. What if instead you had, let's call it 30 other additional professional partners, all of whom had relationships with property owners, who also had databases of 300 people. Yes, that's 9,000 people that are going to be making a real estate move at some point in the next 10 years or so. Now, what if all of those people were trained on how to look for opportunities for you? Now, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they be looking for referrals for their own business? Because here's the reality. Every time real estate changes hands, 20 other professionals go to work. I would even argue more. Let's call it 30 other professionals. It's true. There's large amounts of money that are changing hands. There's a number of other professionals that are brought in to prepare the home for sale and to prepare the home for the next client. The reality is this: when real estate changes hands, opportunities abound. So all of these professionals, as they learn to recognize this and identify opportunities for you, the floodgates will open to truly scaling a referral-based business like you've never experienced before. Now, here's what I'm going to offer to you. We have actually every single week, we do what's called a network coaching call. The entire call is centered around training professionals how to collaborate at the highest level. Now, this training is unique leverage for a real estate agent, because as a real estate agent, you couldn't possibly go train 30 professionals how to refer you. It'd be kind of weird, let's be honest, right? Hey, here's the way you can refer me, right? That wouldn't work well. And so we act as the independent third party. We act as that professional group who steps in to train all of these professionals on your behalf. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a glimpse into here over the next few minutes, one of our trainings in which we were training asset-based professionals. You'll see on this call that I'm actually training a tax professional and helping her to identify that of her 500 plus clients, there are 50 of them moving every single year statistically. And simply by asking a few additional questions, she can open the door to find out those real estate opportunities for you. You're going to love this training. I want you to tune into it. And then at the end, I want you to think to yourself, how would it be? What would it be like to have 30 professional partners who I knew, who I liked, who I had a relationship with, but that were trained on how to be looking for real estate opportunities? Because here's the alternative, is that if you were to try and do this yourself, I want you to think about your dollar per hour. Okay, now if you might be asking yourself, how do I calculate my dollar per hour? Well, it's very simple. You take the amount of money you earned last year and you divide it by 2,000. My guess is if you're a productive real estate agent, you're anywhere between $100 and $200 per hour. Now we'd apply that dollar per hour. Let's say it's $100 per hour. Okay, we'll play it conservative. And you're to train 30 professionals for multiple hours. You see how quickly this can add up. And logistically, it's not going to work. So again, what we've created at ProInsight is leverage for you to be able to train your professional partners on how to look for real estate opportunities, which by the way, creates opportunity for everyone. So enjoy this training. And then at the end, again, if you have interest in learning about how you can plug into this and have your professional partners trained on how to find opportunities for you, send me a message, send me a comment. Let's connect and see if you're the right fit for what we're building. The more you'll be able to specialize in serving these demographics. Right? Imagine sitting down in an appointment with a client, regardless of industry, being able to say, I specialize in helping people that are going through retirement, that are preparing to retire right now. Right? All of a sudden, it's like, what, you specialize in that? Yes, and I've surrounded myself with professionals in other industries who do the same. Can you think of a more valuable proposition to somebody who's going through that transition right now? Is I've found a specialist who's surrounded by other specialists. Like, where do I sign, right? So yes, this is the key for you not having downward price pressure, not being shopped. This is the key to having a steady flow of these clients coming at you, as opposed to you feel like you're chasing tire kickers all day long. What I'd like to do now is go through again in maybe a little more detail what this conversation looks like. And I gave you a bit of a highlight for this, but I'm gonna have somebody helping me through this, okay? So what we want to train up is the powerful component that when real estate changes hands, there are at least 20 professionals who go to work, 20 other professionals, many of whom can be estate attorneys, right? Attorneys, CPAs, lenders, of course, real estate agents, of course, a whole host of contractors. And I'll use Shay. Shay, can I pick on you for a little bit here? Can I bring Shay on the screen here? When a client comes to you at the end of a year, and that client, you find out after the fact that they've made some changes in real estate, how helpful can you be to them when those transactions have already been closed and done?
Not very helpful.
Okay, yeah. I think we would all be wise to listen to what Shay just said right there, right? That after the fact, like through the rearview mirror, tax advice is only a regret, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you work with somebody great like Shay, they can begin to ask the questions, not just, did you buy or sell any property in the last year? Shoot, I could have been more helpful to you had you engaged me, right? But more this question, Shay. So would you read that one for us so that you can all hear what it sounds like coming from an actual tax professional?
Do you anticipate buying or selling any real estate in the upcoming year?
Is that a pretty natural question for you to ask?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what might people's response be? Do they feel like you're asking questions that are out of bounds for you, or is that a pretty natural question for people to hear from you?
I feel like it's a pretty natural question for them to hear from me. It's probably not a question they get at H&R Block.
Well said. Exactly right. Take note, everybody. So yes, that's exactly right. Is that when this question gets asked, right, something magical happens. Is that Shay all of a sudden went from being not you can never compare Shay to H&R Block, but in some people's minds, it's like, oh, it's tax preparation services, right? Shay moved from being a tax preparer to becoming now a tax advisor, right? Tax preparers just help you to mitigate what you've already done. Shay helps you prepare for what will be done. Her fee is so inconsequential to what she can save you when you engage her ahead of time. Right? It's just absolutely a drop in the bucket. Yet so many people don't know that. Now, Shay, when you find out that somebody is buying or selling, right? What else can you do with that information?
Ask if they have top level professionals that they are working with already, and if not, offer to make that introduction.
It's so simple, right? Now, does that feel like you're trying to push people on people, or does it feel like an act of service?
No, it's an act of service, definitely.
So part two is, great. Do you already have a lender? Do you already have a real estate agent? Do you already have even contractors that are going to help you prepare this for sale, right? Do you already have a team in place who, right, you would rate as a 9 or a 10 level professional, right? If they say yes, Shay's going to want to know those people, right? This is a great way for her to add to her professional sphere. Okay, now if they don't, if they're like, nah, I don't know, 9 or 10 might be a stretch, right? I don't know, like, yeah, we know, right? We know a real estate agent, we know a lender, but I don't know, they're just okay, right? They say that, right? The next part here is, right? Would you read that one for us, Shay?
Would you be open to meeting someone who I would say is a 9 or a 10 level professional?
Yeah, sure, right? You're not imposing, you're just offering to make an introduction, right? And then great, watch for a 3-way text intro, right? Super simple. And now you've put it in the hands, right? And then part 4 is you actually do the intro, right? John, please meet Ali Puentes, a level 10 real estate agent. Ali, please meet my amazing clients, Susie and Jim. I'll let you all take it from here. That's it, guys. Edify both sides. Now, keep in mind, in this moment, Shay separated herself as being more than just a functionary in her industry. She became a fiduciary of the entire client process. Okay, she elevated herself to not just be working in a silo over here by herself. She elevated herself to be really a holistic professional who's got a team of level 9 or 10 professionals around her. And last but not least, right, she added value to her professional sphere. Okay, going back to the numbers we shared before, a personal sphere will convert at about 10%. In other words, 10% of a 200-person database is about 20 new clients. A professional sphere will convert at about 100%. In other words, 1 ideal client per year minimum. I think it's even closer, depending upon who the professional is as much as 1 per quarter, right? So anywhere between 10 and 40x. Okay, now I'm not saying that you should disregard or discount or not add value to those that are in your personal sphere and your existing clients. But what I am saying is if you want to grow by referral in the most effective way possible, these relationships are just waiting for you to